brings us to the fourth point in the presentation, which is all about changing your limiting beliefs. We talked about this a little bit when we talked about your peer group. And if your peer group has certain beliefs, you're going to be more likely to hold those beliefs yourself. So if you're surrounded by a bunch of people who think like poker's dead and like games are not beatable anymore and blah, 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 how are you going to feel about your career? Probably not that great. If you're around a bunch of people who are pessimistic, who are negative, who don't believe in self-improvement, don't believe in growth mindset, probably want to get some new peers. A lot of people, they don't realize they're standing in their own way. You have to be able to call bullshit on yourself. And one of the key areas is when you make excuses for yourself. Because the difference between a player who achieves a lot and a player who doesn't manage to achieve the same thing, who had the same goal, is that one of those players continually finds a solution and the other player is willing to believe in their setbacks. When you're solution focused, when something goes wrong, you're like, okay, this went wrong. What can I do about it so that doesn't repeat? How can I improve so I can do better next time? It's a very logical process. When things will go wrong, right? Like you will make mistakes. We sort of covered that. Same in business and being an entrepreneur and in any area of life, right? Fitness, you're going to have setbacks. But like turning that obstacle into the way, turning it into the path that you walk, like letting it make you better, that's what is going to make you a champion, going to make you a winner, and going to make you have a higher win rate than other people who take it as evidence of why they can't, why they won't hit their goals, why they won't reach so far. This is most insidious in the phrase that I'm going to say now, which is a phrase I very much hate. This is just how I am. I want you to look out for opportunities in your life where you hear yourself either saying that or thinking. Because when you say, like, this is just how I am, or this is just how it is, you're basically giving away your power. So say you struggle to sleep after your sessions. That's an example we've gone back to a lot. If you just believe that that's how life is, like that's how being a poker player is, that's what your reality is, I can't get to sleep after my poker session. My mind is wired. I need to spend 3 hours watching Netflix to calm down. Well, then you will continue to have that experience because you don't believe there's another route that could be possible. Does that make sense? Like it's pretty obvious. If you don't believe things can be better than they are, they won't be, not unless you hit the jackpot, right? So you need to be really careful about things like this because a lot of people who are dealing with depression or dealing with like attention focus difficulties, if you look deeply enough, you'll find they have a belief that things can't change. They have a belief that things can't get better. They think there's something wrong with them, something wrong with their brain. And if you believe something like that, if you hold it in your mind, you will make it true. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And when you open your mind to the possibility that if I keep experimenting and keep tweaking things and keep learning and reading and applying myself, working with different mentors, working with people who've had, situations like mine and they were able to improve them. If you keep that kind of a mindset and keep looking for solutions, ultimately you're going to find some. And how much things will improve will just depend on the effort and a little bit of luck. But things will improve from where they are now, but not if you don't believe they can. That's like pretty clear. So the takeaway here is to find solutions and not excuses. The ego, it likes to be right. So when we get kind of tired of being disappointed that we can't change, we start to believe it's impossible because then we get to be right about that. It makes us feel like sort of empowered in what we can't do. Like, oh yeah, I can't do that. I can't focus for long. I can't do that. I'm just not good at, I'm not good at like this kind of stuff. I can't figure out, this new software. I'm not good at computer software. It takes the weight off, you stop feeling bad about yourself. And like, yeah, I just can't do that. It's a coping strategy. Again, a maladaptive coping strategy. If you believe in these things and you'll create a stronger identity, you'll remind yourself every day, this is how I am, like these are my limitations. And like, when you fight for your limitations, guess what? You get to keep them. So I don't want any of you guys to be unnecessarily limited. I don't want you guys to hold yourself back. So just learn to call bullshit on yourself. Look out for areas where you're setting a boundary, like I can't do better than this. And inquire, is that really true? Have I ever found someone to maybe help me who was stuck in a similar position as me and now isn't anymore? Because if I can find that person, I know what one person can do, another person can do. The reason we spend time on this is because it's one of the most common differences between players who make it and players who get stuck at a certain level. It really comes down to their beliefs, because people who believe in themselves and they believe success at a certain level is possible for them, they keep working and finding the ways to get there. But of course, you're not going to keep doing that work. Of course, you're not going to put the effort in required if you don't think it's possible for you. Of course, your motivation it'll end at a certain point. It won't feel like it makes sense to go anymore because I can't do that anyway. It makes sense.